Hey everybody, this is Fleeting ASMR back with another video for you guys today. And today we're going to be going over a couple of books that I mentioned in one of my previous videos. And those are Essentialism and the book that same author published after that, Effortless. So if you're someone who is interested in self-help or just someone who is interested in improving their day-to-day life or just even like ASMR, definitely keep watching. And before the video starts, I just wanted to remind you guys to like, comment, and subscribe if you wish to do so. Any interaction with the channel is good for the algorithm, so I appreciate it very much. Let's get into it. So in this video today, like I said, I'm going to be going through those two books. I'm going to be kind of giving my own thoughts, and I'm also going to be covering a few of the key points in them just to kind of give you better context. And hopefully maybe you take in some of the information and want to either read the book or, improve your life in some small way. Any percentage of improvement is improvement. So let's get started with the first one. Let's get started with the first one. I'm going to be talking about Essentialism, and this is by Greg McKeown. Apologies if I'm not pronouncing that last name correctly. And the full book title is Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. But this is not a thick book by any means. I'd say it's about medium size. I got through it in maybe a day and a half to 2 days. And it is broken up into 3 sections, and actually the next book is also broken up in that same way. But I'm going to kind of give you a breakdown of each of those sections, just little key points, and if there's more to expand on that I come up with in the moment, I definitely will do that. So the whole point really of Essentialism is getting a lot more done by actually doing less. And that may sound counterproductive, but it's more of a strategic way of getting the things that are important to you done rather than maybe serving other people, or maybe you place a lot of priority on things that really shouldn't have priority over your life. That's kind of what this practice entails, because they do go into saying that it's not really something you choose to do daily, it's more of a way of living than anything else. So the second point that I have written down here is when you spread your attention throughout too many things, you get 100 things 1% done rather than one thing completely done. And he actually has a pretty good visual representation for this in the book, and I'm going to turn to it just because maybe it'll help make that sentence make more sense to you. This is the visual representation. So in that first image right here, it shows you putting out a lot of effort across many things and not getting very far. And then the second picture there shows a lot of your effort actually, achieving something or completing something. And I think that's a great, easy to understand visual, so that's why I wanted to include it, and I'm sure that's exactly why he included it in his book. The next point I have is to, instead of saying, I have to do something, like I have to do the laundry, I have to mow the lawn, different things that we need to do in order to live productive lives as adults. Instead of using the verbiage, I have to, you use the verbiage of I choose to. So for example, I'm choosing to brush my teeth twice a day because I want to prevent gum disease, I want to make sure that my breath is fresh, my mouth is clean, etc. Coming up for ways to spin it on how it's actually caring for your body versus, oh, this is just another obligation that I have. Another large piece of this book is, you're going to have to say no to things that aren't essential to you. You don't have time to do everything and still be living as a happy human being. So if a situation is given to you and it's not an immediate yes, like an excitable yes, then it's a no. And that may seem drastic, but I think through practice, this actually really does help you stop spreading yourself so thin. This gives you the opportunity to prioritize your life before someone else makes those decisions for you. A good example would be going to a family event that you don't want to go to. Maybe it's a family reunion, or it's someone's birthday, and there's going to be people there that maybe you don't want to see. The reality is, a lot of us have family that really don't act a whole lot like family, so we make the decision to not go for many reasons, but prioritizing the things that matter to you, that fuel your soul, is really important to happiness, and that's a really big part of this. Realizing that there will be trade-offs, you will miss out on things, is really important. Like I said, you won't be able to do everything, but you'll be doing the things that are important to you, and that will be enough. It might be hard in the beginning. That fear of missing out is real. I feel it all the time, either in real life or on social media, and you slowly get over that. A couple of the last things of this first section were how he really says we need to prioritize play and prioritize sleep. Play, he says, is essential to sparking creativity, joy, imagination, happiness, and sleep really has a lot to do with healing, rejuvenating yourself. If you sleep less than 6 hours a night, you are working at a disadvantage, and if you are able to bump that up at all, you're going to see changes in your productivity, whether it be at work, in your personal life, etc. It just helps with so many things. Shattering this stigma on rest is very important to this author. I know there's a lot of rise and grind culture, and I'm not saying you shouldn't go after your goals and work hard, and neither is the author, of course, but I do think that there is a lot of good to rest. I would rather rest and do a really kick-ass job, either working on something creatively or at work, than be super tired and really have, be working at 15% brain power or brain efficiency. It helps in so many different areas of your life to be able to rest. So let's dive into the second section of this book. And I want to apologize if I go in between soft speaking and whispering. It can be hard to stay with one throughout an entire sentence or video, so apologies there. So the beginning of the second section talks about the art of saying no in a graceful, respectful, but firm way, and that people will actually start to respect you more long term for you respecting your own boundaries, whether it be at work or in your personal life. It is important to separate the relationship from this. Only saying yes because they're your family member, or only saying yes because they're one of your good friends that has been great to you throughout your whole life. That doesn't change your boundary. It shouldn't change your boundary. Obviously you have different boundaries with different people because people treat you differently, of course, but if it's not something that you want to say yes to, they kind of go over different ways on how to say no in a respectful way and without hurting the relationship. He goes over many different ways to do this, but I'm just going to hit on 3 of those. So the first one is when someone asks you, do you want to go out to dinner on Friday or whatever hypothetical, to pause and count to 3. Pausing and counting to 3 before you consider speaking can allow that person to fill that awkward silence and maybe get you off the hook in a way that you didn't even have to say no. You could say no, but, and then bring up maybe a different day, or let me check my schedule, that kind of thing. So it's not really a no, but it's an I'll get back to you on that. He also talks about us putting a lot of, attaching a lot of worth to things we've already sunk our time, effort, or money into For example, a company, if you started a company and you've put a lot of money into it, but you see over a long period of time that things aren't going to work the way you want them to, a lot of times people will continue to throw money into that because they don't want to cut their losses. And he does say there is a lot of power in cutting your losses because that time, effort, money could be spent doing something else that is going to reap more reward. And I don't think it's applicable in every situation, but I do think being more open to cutting your losses is healthy. And that, sometimes making things better means subtracting something out of the equation. The third section starts out by him explaining how to build in a buffer for emergencies. So let's say it takes an hour to get downtown. Maybe factor in more minutes than that for traffic, for a possible gas station stop. Anything could happen in that time period from you leaving your house and going downtown and making that trip. So really building in a buffer for unexpected events and having a lot of preparation for things that are important to you. So going to Disney or something like that, don't wait until the night before to pack for your big trip to the Disney resort. Early preparation makes it so that the morning of things flow better, you're not as forgetful because you're not in a rush, and overall less stress and overwhelm during that situation. I personally have always been pretty good about preparing. My mom is one of those people that will pack for a trip like 2 weeks in advance, and thankfully I have that same mindset, or similar, maybe not as extreme, but that similar mindset, so I don't find myself running into a lot of those situations very often. And bear in mind, a lot of these apply to business practices as well. So, for example, identifying the slowest or weakest link and seeing how you can improve that one area, and watch as the domino effect really amplifies the productivity and effectiveness of everything else. He gave an example of a group of Boy Scouts walking, and one of them is not as fast as the others. Figuring out what will help that slow person get to the front of the line, or stay with the group rather, will help the timeline of getting to where they need to go instead of dragging them behind. And remember that through any process, you need to celebrate small wins. I know we have big goals, but we should also have small goals, and we should celebrate those small goals as well to keep us wanting to move forward. If you have, the goal to lose weight, don't just celebrate once you've lost the 25 or 50 pounds or whatever it is. Celebrate for every 10. Do something that is like a reward for yourself, like an activity or something that will keep you going. He also puts emphasis at the end of this book on how to make these essential things effortless by developing a routine that makes them that way. So, for example, I put out my clothes the night before that I'm going to change into after I shower in the morning. That makes it easier for me to do those things. And those clothes are workout clothes, so I instantly change into my workout clothes, and then I really don't have an excuse anymore not to work out. Making things as effortless as possible, defeating those hurdles that will come up before they even happen, is very, very, very much priceless. And he ends with the ability to focus your mind on the present rather than the past or the future. I could make an entire video series about this. It's reflected in The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, which I've talked about before. I think I talked about that in my first ASMR video. But instead of having anxiety about future possible events, and instead of dwelling in the maybe not so happy things that happened in the past, you focus on the here and now and really place yourself in your present reality and enjoy the things around you, because let's face it, we don't live forever, and enjoying these moments is paramount to your happiness, because I know I look back 5-10 years and I wish that I had been more present in my life, and I know that that will be the way that it is 5 or 10 years from now if I don't adopt this mindset now. So the sooner you do it, the better. And like I said, I could do a whole video on that. I think I will do a whole video on the power of now eventually, but that would take me a little bit of time to get all my thoughts in order, so watch out for that video. This book also has a 21-day challenge in the back, and I'm going to read a little bit of what that looks like to you guys. I'm going to read the little blurb that is at the beginning of this challenge. Lots of people who want to become essentialists have asked me, where do I start? My answer is to take the 21-day Essentialism challenge. Every day corresponds with a chapter in this book and contains a micro step that you can take to make starting this journey easier. I recommend you invite people on your team and in your family to join you in this challenge. And when he says team, I think he means at work. Talk about your experiences. What was hard? What got in the way? What was easy? And what were your successes? I've also prepared short videos for each day's challenge, and then he gives the link for those. And I guess there's a code in the book as well to access those videos. But so each day he does have something that corresponds with what he said in the book, and they are micro steps. For example, day 1 is finding an accountability partner and reading the first chapter of the book together, and inviting them to do the challenge with you. That's a pretty small step, but definitely important and in the right direction. Another example of a micro step in this challenge is taking a 20-minute nap. A lot of people don't like to nap. I'm one of those people. I, first of all, get heartburn when I take a nap, but second of all, I kind of feel like I got hit by a train when I wake up from a nap, and I think that's because I'm either sleeping too much or not enough. Like I'm not hitting my REM cycle, or I'm in the middle of it, or I don't know. I don't know a ton about sleep, but a lot of people love to nap, and it works for them, and it does help productivity. I think there was don't quote me on this, I think there was a study that said sleeping for like a 30-minute nap is the equivalent of the productivity that you have for sleeping for like 4 hours or something. I don't know. That could be completely off base, but either way, sleeping is very important, and micro steps like that are super important to changing your life for the better and making you not feel so burnt out. This is really the book of how not to feel so burnt out all the time, because you're spreading your energy everywhere all the time. And I know a lot of us can relate to that. The next video that I put out will be going over the next book, which is Effortless. And the full title to that is Effortless, Make It Easier to Do What Matters Most. And he did say that he wrote this next book because he asked himself the question of, what if everything I'm doing is essential, but I still feel burnt out? What's the end goal there? What's the solution at that point? And that prompted him to write that book. So that will be the next video that I do. I already have a lot of my notes down, but I want to make sure everything is kind of cohesive, and look out for that video. That'll be the next one up probably. So thank you guys so much for sticking around. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. If you liked the soft speaking video, definitely let me know. If you prefer whispering, let me know that. And thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. I think right now we're at 31 subscribers, and we had the goal of 50, so we're more than halfway there. So thank you guys so much for that. It means the world to me, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video.